Galactic Journey, October 31st, 1958. Things to come. These are exciting times we live in. The drop in published science fiction is almost made up for by the increase in space-related articles in my newspaper. I read an Associated Press piece yesterday that I thought was particularly interesting. Colonies of Earthmen will occupy the Moon, Mars, and Venus. Rockets will be burning their way toward the outer planets more than 3 billion miles from Earth. Engineers will fashion huge space transports capable of carrying hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people on space expeditions that may last most of a lifetime. These are among the predictions for the next 25 years, the coming generation, made yesterday at a panel of 9 space experts in astronautics, the Journal of the American Rocket Society. These experts were agreed that the Earth would soon be ringed with satellites and space stations. Huge rockets would roar between continents, carrying cargo and passengers in minutes. This was an AP story. The panelists included Dr. York, Chief Scientist for the Advanced Research Projects Agency, Dr. Hugh Dryden, Deputy Administrator at the newly formed National Aeronautics Space Administration, Dr. Cy Ramo, President of Space Technology Laboratories, and Dr. Werner von Braun, who had a minor rocketry position during the war and has since gone on to greater things with the U.S. Army. Now, is this a mainstream recognition that science fiction is becoming science fact? Or is this merely the wishful thinking of a bunch of folks whose business, frankly, is making a living off space travel? Are they the same thing? Either way, there's no question that bigger and better things are just around the corner. Dr. Dryden opines that there will be people in orbit in just a few years. Von Braun outlined a second and third generation of rockets in development that will ultimately throw up to 50,000 pounds into orbit at once. I know that the Redstone-based Juno 1, the famous booster that launched America's first satellite, Explorer 1, was retired last week after failing to launch Explorer 6. Its replacement will have the same upper stages, but will be based on the much larger Jupiter missile. I don't know if that rocket will be big enough to put a person in orbit, but I'll bet something based on the new Atlas ICBM could do it. And it's pretty clear that the Soviet rocket that put the ton-and-a-half Sputnik 3 into space could do it. Of course, I'm not sure where they'll get the volunteers to fly in the thing if it's anywhere near as bulky as our rockets have been. If the first Russian satellite was Sputnik, and the second was Mutnik, because it carried a dog cosmonaut, I'm guessing the first manned ship will be called Nutnik. It may well be that the first person in space won't ride a cannonball, but a space plane. I clipped from the paper on October 16th a picture of the Air Force's new aircraft, the X-15. It's a beautiful ship, made by the same people who built the P-51 and the F-86. It's supposed to fly at Mach 6 or 7 and go up as high as 50 miles above the ground. Vice President Nixon, remember him? Said of the craft, "We have moved into first place in the race to enter outer space." We'll see how long we stay there. The original written article, linked stories, and images can be found at galacticjourney.org by Gideon Marcus.